Well, good morning, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch. It is Sunday, January 15, 2023 on our planet. I said since day one, when I started my platforms, that my awakening was also spiritual, which brought me into the research of grand solar minimum, magnetic reversal, etc., and how I am aligning everything, the science of what's going on, to scriptures and revelation, and how everything's coming together very, very neatly. So every once in a while I do these little sermon talks, or whatever you want to call them. Spiritual awakening talks. I shouldn't say sermon, because that will be self-labeling as a prophet, which I am not. Now, I originally did this video yesterday and put it on my Telegram channel. But after watching Travis of the Prepared Homestead, who I watch religiously every day because I like the guy, I like where he's coming from, I like how he speaks and how he refers to scripture. He just did a video on the pole shift and should we prepare. And I admire what he says, and I think you should go over there and take a listen to what he says. So I'm redoing last night's video, intermixing what Mr. Travis just said, but mostly it's a re-edit of what he already did last night. Maybe he watched it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Happy if he did. Anyway, I like the Prepared Homestead, and I refer anybody to go take a look at his channel. So, to continue with an edit from last night's video, the world leaders are heading to Davos for another one of their group meetings to discuss how they're going to change the world, how they're going to rule the world through the Great Reset, which is not a conspiracy. It's a written document. You can find on their website, or you can go to Agenda 2030. It's all there. Now, this meeting at Davos is to call for a global governance, global cooperation, which is eventually going to lead to a single entity. Whether they realize it or not, whether they are consciously or subconsciously preparing for his arrival. And a lot of what I'm going to say is, I mean, it comes from me, it comes from here, but I also watched one of those economic channels last night, and he brought up some very good points, so I'm going to be using some of his points, because it's all coming together. The science of what's happening to our planet, and what the elite want to do through the Great Reset and Tribulation, is all coming together very, very neatly, in my observational opinion, and anybody else who's awake. Excuse me. So, getting to the Great Reset and how they're going to get everybody to comply. How are they going to do this? It's quite simple. They're going to continue what they've been doing for the past 3 years. By orchestrated collapse of all our existing systems, the financial system, the banking system, the food system, the energy system, the means of acquiring a home and keeping your home through mortgages. Collapsing all that. And when you collapse all that and people fall into a state of despair and depression over an extended period of time, then you offer them a saviorship through a Great Reset. So everything that the Davos crowd, the World Economic Forum crowd, all those bastards, everything they want to do is also clearly outlined in Revelation. His playlists. He has a playlist that perhaps we should refresh our memories on, myself included. So when you put through people through a state of misery, chaos, strife, desperation, despair, when they're losing everything, when they're starving, when they're hungry, when you put people through that, through the orchestrated destruction of our existing systems, then you present a new system. The Great Reset through the New World Order. By 2030, but in my personal observational opinions, I think it's going to be happening a little bit sooner. And I keep on bringing up the year 2025. Now, clearly we are in a recession. But we haven't gone into, as Scripture describes, famine yet. A $10 head of lettuce in Australia is not a famine. A $5 head of lettuce in Canada is not a famine. A bunch of radish, which used to cost 99 cents, is now $2.49, is now not a famine. Not yet. So we have everything that's laid out in the Scriptures, the beginnings of the sorrows and the birth pains and the earthquakes in diverse places and the pestilence and the famines, all these things which must first come to pass. At the beginning of, or before we get into tribulation. So, it's not all about me watching out for earthquakes and volcanoes and cosmic rays and headaches and jet streams and all that. There's also the spiritual awakening aspect, as well as what the global elites are planning for us. And again, you take these three things, the earth signs, what the global elites are doing, and tribulation, and it's all just coming together very, very neatly. And unfortunately, it's not going to be a very neat future for us. Now, through the Great Reset, by 2030, now you need to read through the talking points of this Davos meeting, and I will raise just a couple of them as an example. And it's all out there. You can do your own research and take a look at their agenda, talking points of discussions. I'll get to that in a moment. Orange, carrot, strawberries, and banana. So he created an orchestrated destruction of all of our systems, food, energy, banking. And you start to implement new system, digital dollar. You take away our energy. You put control systems on them. The destruction of our food systems. But we have some bugs for you now. You do all these things. My neighbors in the United States, how many food processing plants already have mysteriously blown up or caught on fire? Over 100 already? Inexplicably? Right? You're getting a lot of atmospheric rivers coming in, flooding. You're also getting your reservoirs topped off right now. By how much, I don't know. Lake Mead and the rest of them. Watch your reservoirs and see if there's any intentional discharge. before the next planting season and growing season. There's that much evil in the world, folks. So getting back to the topic of the Davos agenda, when I read a few of their paragraphs, and I'll quote some, they're going to be addressing the current energy and food crisis in the context of a new system. So on every single talking point, it starts off in the context of a new system, a new financial system, digital dollar, control over you through the digital dollar, a new energy system, a new food system, new energy, which we don't have, they don't have. But they're still going to control you in other ways, as they are already doing in other countries of the world because of an energy crisis. We got to turn off your power every night at whatever time and turn it back on in the morning. No more power for you in the middle of the night. Can they do that here? Of course they can. Smart meters for their head office. They can shut you down. Control. Digital banking currency. Direct control over you financially. There's no more side hustle jobs. Sorry, Economic Ninja. There's no more part-time cash jobs to try and keep up. There's no more allowance to your kids. There's no more grandma sending your grandkids money. There's no more yard sale shopping. What do you use to pay for other people's stuff? You gonna do it through a digital currency system? No. If you're not a good person towards the environment, well, we're going to take some of your money, your credit away from you because you've been driving too much, polluting the environment. Control. Some of their other talking points are calling for further actions to reduce carbon emissions and mitigate the effects of climate change. How are they going to do that up here in Canada? They will be doing it in climate lockdowns. Our panty-wearing Prime Minister Trudeau, I guarantee you by this summer he's going to be not allowing cross-provincial border travel. Well, we're responsible for starting all these wildfires, so we have to restrict your movement through all these areas, which is all of Canada, second largest country in the world. Folks, get ready for it. And I'm not the only one who's saying it. Climate lockdowns are coming. If you think that the pandemic lockdowns were bad, it's nothing compared to what's coming. And this is a quote from one of the topics of discussion. Measures to include, quote, decoupling economic growth from energy consumption, end quote. It's a nice little short sentence, isn't it? You want to break it down? Decoupling economic growth. Severing our dependence on what they call fossil fuel, and it's not a fossil fuel. Okay, it's oil, it's natural gas, it's in the upper layers of our crust naturally. We didn't have that many dinosaurs to produce so much natural gas and oil and all that. Sever our dependency on it. We're not going to allow you to have so much anymore. Oh, and you can't buy any more gas-powered cars in just a few years. Decouple, sever economic growth from energy consumption. What's the first thing Biden did within the first hour coming into office? He signed an order scrapping the Keystone Pipeline from Canada to the United States. I understand there's no more gas for you for your cooking stoves, for your homes. You wake up, people, you have one gas line coming into your house, It's not just for your cooking stove. It's for your furnace, for your heating. It's for your gas fireplace. You have a gas dryer for your clothes, all of it, no more. You have to do it by electricity that we don't have enough watts and amperages for. Oh, well, we have that smart meter, so we got to turn you off every night. Control tool. Think about what's coming. Here's another one. Imposing a new social contract. I want you to go to your computer and Google social contract. I'll give you a quick definition. An implicit agreement among the members, of society to cooperate for social benefits by sacrificing some individual freedoms. Does that sound familiar in another country, China? I'll give you an example. A social contract is dictating what you will do in order to contribute to society. We don't need so many workers doing this. We need workers for this. Therefore, you will be doing a job doing this to contribute to society. We don't need workers for oil and gas anymore, but we are going to need you for this. Now, these are some tools being implemented for control purposes. Excuse me a minute. Time for another inoculation. And again, I'm going back and forth between tribulation and what Travis said and something I watched last night in one of these economic channels. So the reason why I'm here is to show you how everything is just coming together. Mr. Travis, he talks a lot about preparation spiritually. And all that, get your houses in order. Whereas I start off with the magnetic excursion, the signs and the symptoms. Now he's doing a switch along with me. He's way down here, wherever he is in southern United States, and I'm way up here in Canada. Get the mind, wow. Right? You watching me, Travis? So by my interpretation of Scripture, going into tribulation, the second 40 and 2 months, when he arises from the sea of people, at the same time as the Great Reset, after everybody has to go through a state of global depression and great pains and sorrows, before they bring in the Great Reset, being prepared for him. Yes, we're going to bring you out of your pain and hunger. There's one condition, though. You have to have this. And you have to have this. And I brought my buddy over, the Beast. He's my enforcer. If you don't like it, your head gets chopped off. The Great Reset. And when do they want to have that implemented? 2030. I'm not trying to establish a firm timeline in the beginning of tribulation or where the middle is or where the end is. I'm just trying to bring everything together. A lot of people don't realize, or they forget, we first have to go through a period of pain and sorrows and strife, and the earth pains. The earthquakes in diverse places, and the pestilence and the famine. Inflated food prices at the grocery store is not famine. The last and the first round of pestilence, it was nothing yet. The earthquakes, indeed, as an earth observer every single day, yes, they are beginning to happen in diverse places, but not at the magnitude, I think, he and his playlists say they're going to happen. That's the one thing we haven't experienced yet, as well as the famine and the pestilence. The system of authoritarian control is coming our way. So we're just at the beginning, in my observational opinion. So again, I started this actually last night. I posted it on Telegram, but something told me just don't put it on YouTube yet and don't put it on my Facebook. I had a feeling I wasn't finished. And that guy Travis down there, he's responsible. So as he says, do we prepare for the pole shift? To not prepare for the pole shift is to not prepare for tribulation. To not do your own study and research and read his playlists, because he's laid it all out. He's told us what to expect before we get into the tribulation period. It's all there. Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 12:4, Isaiah, John, all the boys. I think their playlists are more credible than anybody else's you'll find on YouTube. My playlist is just my observations that I bring to you, and you can decide whether or not they're truth and whether they're leading into beginnings of sorrows and earth changes and earth pains. So, this is my little spiritual speech I haven't done for a while. And again, I'm not just here to bring you the earthquakes and the volcanoes and the cosmic rays and the headaches and the jet streams and all that. Yes, these things are important. We need to recognize them and prepare for them. Because that's all part of the playlist. So folks, I hope you enjoy your day, your Sunday. Maybe pop into the Prepared Homestead, take a look at his video today. He's not too sure if he should carry on with this topic of discussion. I think he should. I think it's important. As well as the spiritual messaging. Not all of you are here for the spiritual messaging, and that's fine. Like I said in the very beginning, that's where I'm coming from. You get a lot of the science stuff every day from me. Some days several times a day. I think it is warranted, just like this talk. So that's it for now, folks. Until later on tonight. Thank you.